All right, so we'll go ahead and start the recording here. And welcome to the 2023 Pipe and Poob tour video. We didn't think we were going to get to do this one.
Forget what month though. This is the February or no, the March
Yeah, March. We
2023.
pushed it back by one for
Yeah, we
automation.
pushed it back. Yeah, we usually do February
But
and
so
July.
we'll just start by saying the this one was a little different. It was supposed to be a 35-day wipe with 8 days left in the wipe. The server crashed to the point where nobody could stand up where they were sleeping. So
Yep.
apparently, we hit the limit for how many items can be transferred map wide, which was like 4.2 billion, and they expanded that. So we were, Moose admins were
They
kind enough.
expanded it more than once too, if I remember correctly. Didn't they go to the trillions and that failed?
They just added, no, they went from 32 to 64. But so the Moose admins were kind enough to give us a copy of the map, and we had our map editor guy going, Crazy Man How went in and messed with it a little bit. So now we have a build server with the pipe and poop on it.
Correct.
Different than normal, we'd just be showing you on the live map, but this is the best we got this time because we had still planned to do another week. So,
Yeah. So on this version of the base tour, you get to see us be Superman and
right.
fly around or
The
not fly around.
main things I want to focus on this time is really the automation system. The SAM towers are a new thing. We could show off an MLRS too at some point. Just shoot an MLRS at us.
Okay. Is he gonna crash the server?
That's it. Actually, we might have had to have deleted it at like the MLRS monument. So good point. But we do have an Iron Dome, so we're totally immune to SAMs this wipe or MLRS this wipe, which was they were heavily used by a lot of different clans. Over here, I'm just showing off the main little apartment area. These were all right. Your tier one apartments, triangle and a square, a couple smalls, bed, furnace, all your normal stuff here. I think we sold 20 of those, maybe.
About
Yeah,
that.
maybe a little less than that. Here's your tier twos, right? This one's actually a little under furnished. They could put a little more
Well, there
stuff
was
in
a
here.
couple strange instances where we had residents that refused to buy the tier one and just wanted immediately to go to tier two.
Yeah, I mean
So that
that happens every wipe though.
really? Yeah.
So that was the tier two I was just showing off, and then we're going into the tier threes now.
Yep. And if you've
Or
seen
I'm
our
sorry, this
videos
is tier
before,
two as well.
you're used to seeing the 1, 2s, and 3s the way they pretty much are. We've adopted these builds over the last, I'd say, 2 years, and we pretty much have built these style buildings over the last 2 years in wipes. Even though we did take a significant break, I know the 2 wipes before this, it was the tier 1 stone building, the 2 tier 2s, which is a very old school design. Poob actually did these tier 2 designs when I first joined 5 years ago,
So
and then tier 3 was added by me
and then
after we went through renovations.
we also did like full TC automation. So everything, pretty much everything in the base, other than like no. So I guess even this tower, yeah, this tower has it too.
Yeah. Any of the Iron Dome.
Pretty much everything was set up to the main computer system, which was supplying TCs. These bunker towers are super nice too. Crazy. It's basically a stability bunker to get in, right? And then just
No. Pixel gap. That's a pixel gap, or a freehand bunker.
right freehand. Sorry,
Freehand bunker.
just this little boat base that we had. Honestly, was kind of a source of consternation at the beginning, just because. Oh, and all the paintings got deleted when we made the build server, but
Oh really?
um,
Oh yeah, look at that. That's
but
terrible. Well,
worked as a boat base. Eventually had it pretty well locked down, but this was where all the nakeds were jumping in. Telly
mushroom
or heli mushroom. Yep, fairly small this wipe.
does its job.
Yeah, so a couple farms as well, right? So these buildings were
Yep.
farms. That was the processing floor, and then these. I think this one's just 3 floors of farms.
Yeah, there are 3
Yeah.
floors. First
Oh no,
floor
this no,
processing.
that has the processing floor too on the
Oh
top.
really? Oh,
Yep. Here's our Heli Garage, right? So we normally keep 8+ minis in here, and then 1 or 2 scrap helis. And these are like, so these drop chests lead back into the main system. Anything you put in here just immediately goes back. It's probably a bad idea for me to put too many items through the system right now, but and then these lockers are auto-filling. Let's see if our code still works. Good.
Yeah, the lockers are still working because where I spawned at my bed, I grabbed half this kit that I'm wearing, so and it refilled it. So.
Yep. See, so and these will just refill with whatever the different, we have a couple different lockers set up. So these were like the These are the heli things.
Yep.
And something else worth noting is in the China wall here, we had a bunch of beds and then auto refilling lockers too. So, and the idea was the base is wide enough to where you could have a bed on opposite sides of the base. So no matter where we get raided from, people are going to be spilling out with kits like constantly.
Yeah, and you're not going to be on bed timer either.
So let's go take a look at the main automation system here. This was kind of the,
Main tower?
yeah,
I don't know what floor you're on.
this was honestly the heart of the base. I'm just going to open up. But so this is the dump chest floor, right? Essentially outside of the base, there's outside of this tower, there's a bunch of chests that are all just pulling in to these. Anywhere else in the base. And so this is just like variety mess, essentially. Anything that the main computer is full on or can't identify just stays in these chests. And then the main computer is 3 different sets of 32 chests that are pulling from these dumps. So essentially the dump goes up through that floor. But so these will be main chests.
One row or one floor.
Yeah, there's another floor of these. Here's the rocket launcher chest. Here's the semi chest. Just whatever it is for different items. And it goes through pretty much everything here.
Nope. Now I just realized looking at all this. Look at how many fucking pipes are just. This is just crazy. They need to do something about that. Uh huh.
They're on in the basement, and then that leads out to whatever you know. So just frags, and then that goes out to the green line. The green line is a connection of 32 chests that conveyors can look back at. So any specific conveyor down at the end of that line, right, could lead out to go, just as an example, to our furnaces. So we should see a green line that comes in, yeah, right there, right? So a green line comes into furnaces.
Yep.
That would supply ore. I mean, whenever we get ore, it just comes in and auto cooks here. We had an auto charcoal as well. I think it's either here or in the other tower.
The other tower.
Um, yeah, but so that would essentially kick on when it noticed that main didn't have enough charcoal in it.
Yep.
Another important aspect was deep storage. So you'll see right on this frag thing, there's the main conveyor that connects this to the blue and the green lines, but then there's also another gray back here. This leads out all the way into the other tower. I think this is where most of those bridge across. But these come over here into our deep storage, where are you? I think I'm close here. Yeah, here you go. So over here we can
I don't have
have
the code for that.
um,
Oh god.
the pipe. So these gray pipes go directly we have in the main storage, and then this essentially looks to see is there if there's more than 42,000 in the main chest, it'll stop pushing from here. And if there's less than, I'm sorry, I'm going to say that a little bit wrong, but it essentially just keeps the main chest at between 40 to 42K, and then these all fill up with the surplus, right? So the main computer is capable of holding 500,000 metal frags. We had 4 chests of meds faster. So it's is basically always going to be supplied with them. I don't know, maybe right, but we had stone, we had wood, just basically expanding our that main storage by having a separate line that pulls out to here. We did that for kits, we did that for a lot of different stuff. So that's kind of the main idea of the system. I can show you the stuff in the basement, maybe if I can find it. Here you go. So here's the main kind of sorting room. These all lead out to different places and they split in different areas, right? But I think this is probably, yeah, so this goes out to a locker, or this goes out to a line that splits out to 6 different lockers. And then whenever these items go into main storage, it looks at the dump, is main too full for that, like if so, leave it in the dump, otherwise pull it up into main and then push it out to the locker. It just lets people come back to the base, use a drop chest, right? So people come here, these are the drop. They like this is basically all people would interact with. They come drop everything that they want here. A couple just like loose chests for stuff that we wanted to just kind of keep a hold of. Um, and then grab your locker grab your farming locker or kit out of there, or go into main and go into here and get these to the lockers kept one of each weapon mod. So like, oh, I need a flashlight, right? And the system should just put another flashlight in there. It might take a second though. Unless that is literally the last flashlight in the system, which is not impossible. But pumpkins should refill here, right?
Depending on what's in the system.
We're gonna crash the server. This is gonna be the end of the video right now, but
Wait, we still haven't shown the special loot that the raiders get if they actually raid the main.
I'll do that in a sec. The one I did want to show off the magic box too.
Sure.
Magic box is essentially just all of the that are configurable, right? So from here, we could get here. Try to leave that open. Don't hit that laser.
I'm backed away, and you gotta watch the red light.
But so from here I can pull whatever I want. So this is the green line. Like, oh man, I need metal fragments, and I need 8,000 metal frags. Oh, you know what? It's disconnected. That's what
No, it was working.
Crazy disconnected the like the main connection to it, because that was part of what caused the
I got
crash.
AK out of it. I asked it for AK.
Oh,
It
oh
gave me
nope,
AK.
it's going. It's going. That's
It's
scary.
just going slow.
Yeah, it's very slow. But that's the general idea, right? So you can call anything that you want out of the system from here. This is somewhat accessible. If you're trying to be really sweaty too, you have a lock on this chest. You put a C4 on either these conveyors or like part of the line here, and then you put a sensor that detects if someone not on your TC is nearby. So you can have this magic box somewhere super exposed. Somebody runs up to it that's not supposed to and would be gaining access to your items. It just blows the connection and then keeps you safe. We didn't actually really have to go to that length. In trouble. We also ran one of those out to the shop. That was where the idea came from, because it's kind of dangerous to run this line all the way out here.
Yeah.
And they are layered here, so you'd have to take 3 or 4 TCs. But if you did, in theory, and you were right here and none of the lines had broken, you'd be able to pull pretty much everything out of our main loot. But again, a couple ways to kind of defend against that. Yeah, we had our helipad. This wasn't used as much as we normally would. We didn't have scrappies coming in and out of the base like we usually would.
Also, the drop box thing was kind of useless because of
Right. Well, normally we'd have 60 chests out here, and we'd have loot goblins that bring everything back into.
Now look.
This is it. That's the whole thing now.
No point on having more than that now with this system once it's up and running.
And it dumps super fast too. Like the speed to pull stuff into the drop chest. I think there's like 20 conveyors that are just like pulling anything.
Yeah.
So those move really quick. This cabana was pretty cool. This was like our main little hangout and congregation spot. Off the tier. Sold a couple tier 4s this wipe. We did break 3 million in land sales. A little bit over 50% our best wipe. So proof that the concept still works. This is the first wipe where we didn't break our old land sale record, but we've been away for like almost 2 years, so not unexpected. And honestly, I consider this wipe successful. The first 2 weeks were pretty rough, but
yeah, behind. Like
we ran into an 80-person German zerg, and they just outnumbered us. They did what we did, but had more and were more active and farmed more, and they won. That's what it came down to. So, had to move out to Spawn Beach.
Which delayed the build a good amount of days.
Yeah, we opened on day.
Getting to the shop, the shop getting built. Main was still built opening weekend. We had a functional main by Monday night, where we would have wanted a functional main by Saturday night. So everyone really helped out big time getting the main established once we picked our build area.
Yeah.
But getting a functional shop with apartments took another week.
Well, and what we had better. This is the mini area for the tier fours, but the what we had better than any other wipe this wipe, we had a really solid core group of employees that like stuck with it and made it way less painful. Like we had like 8 people that were logging on every single day, 8 to 12, whereas like in the past we've had 4 for like the last end of wipe, and it's more like customers that we're working with, right? But we just had that solid core that logged on every day, figured out what we needed to do, and pushed through it. That helped a ton and helped us get over those initial losses.
Yeah.
Um, but
We
our logistics were way better this way. We were using the drone. I mean, I personally spent probably 8 to 10,000 scrap across the wipe mailing things via drone. We mailed so much stuff safely. We had HQM quarry held. One of Millie team, Crispy, went and held that for a while, and kind of used some of his other alliances too to really secure that. So that was a huge help. That basically took care of us for HQM as soon as we like really started needing it.
yeah
And we didn't get raided because it was a lag beast. Nobody wanted to deal with it. It came down to us and one other base, Bunny. It was run by Bunny, and we were kind of just staring each other down with like 10 days left to wipe, and they were just starting to scout us, and I was like kind of aware of it, and then wipe happened. So, or rather, server shit the bed, and we, we force
yeah
logged out.
I mean
Pipe and Poob Land Center. I can show that off too.
I
Here
think
you go.
the delay of the shop wasn't the major. It was a contributing factor, but the server crashing, lagging, getting constantly rebooted, having other issues, then certain clans being rather very violent, let's say, towards raiding. Other clans off the server or other people off the server. I think the pop was less than normal on
So real
on
quick,
a moose wipe.
this is like drones and cameras and stuff.
Turrets.
Let's see how many of these still work. Oh man, they all got reset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nope, some work. There you go.
Well, some cameras got busted too. Somebody blew up a camera that was up on your tower that you put up on like day 5. That's up on the hill.
But just so for like knocking scrappies out of the air, if it ever came to it, we didn't wind up using that, but I think that's most of it, right? I mean, it's a
Yeah,
little bit quicker because we don't have to travel around and
we
stare
really
up at
didn't
stuff,
raid
but
anybody except solo hotel builder this wipe. Usually we could say we have raid stories.
yeah, but we
We
raided the
don't.
shit out of him. We pierced
Yeah,
him with 70 rockets once, and he
more
kept
than
talking
once.
shit. And then his
Yeah.
employee came to our Discord and gave us their master code, so we took his main over and then gave it to an ally,
And
and
then he
then
rebuilt again, and then we full sent on him and
and
wiped him off the
locked it
server.
down with TCs and stuff. And then he was still talking shit afterwards. So he's an interesting dude.
But
Interesting dude. Definitely the personality of the wipe that we dealt with. Bunny was pretty tame. Belung never came and messed with us once we built out here at spawn.
not with this base. But
The Germans were, I mean, like I get it, and we even had an option to reach out to the German, like we had a path of communication, and it was like, yo, like Poob, do you want me to set up a meeting with the Germans? And I was like, what are we gonna say? Like, we want their land. We were fighting for what is it, X4, Z4, right? We're
yeah,
gonna build right here. So this was all freshwater, this upper
yep,
little island thing, and then we would have had an outlet. We could have built tier fours right there. Would have held sulfur quarry, been in between large oil rig, underwater lab, and
yeah,
military tons,
yep, yep.
close to excavator, which was where Millie team was trying to get set up. So they got pushed back twice. We got pushed back twice because we were Z4, then we tried Z13. Bartertown was building down there. We found out after 2 raid attempts on them. And at that point, we were just like, fuck it, we were on out to spawn. Like, we're gonna go build Poob Ranch at this point because it was just a hostile map. There's a lot of people online, a lot of big competitive groups that are tenacious too, like don't quit, and like are prepared for offlines and shit. So, um, just a very competitive wipe. And we, on day 3, we still had nothing. So I was like, dude, I'm building 2x1s at ranch and put 5 2x1s out on this little hill over here, and then started main.
Yeah, the original 2x1 that started this build site is still there. It's part of the wall now.
Yeah, where is that?
Right
Right.
by the ranch, by the
Oh,
rock.
the
Yep.
the 2.5x1.
Yep. Yeah. It was a 2x1, but
It's missing a door. That's funny.
yeah.
It's missing 2 doors. Okay. Uh, quick point out, these little towers are awesome. These things are very cheap for what you get in terms of land control.
Oh, you talking about the pteropods?
1,400 metal a day. I mean, this thing's a beast. This thing would soak multiple rockets. Um, yeah, those just are in terms of land. And we had a lot of towers like that. So if someone was really going to try to commit into this base, like they would essentially have to blow 2 of these towers, build a tunnel with walls, right, and then try to start coming in. And I think we peaked at 650 rockets this way. Was that the most we had at one point, and like 100 C4? So we could have.
No, we had 240 C4s, almost 800 rockets at
Okay,
one point.
that was like our peak, and then we burnt
Yeah.
most of it in a weekend. But we never went under maybe 140, 150 rockets in main.
All right.
So I mean, we could have smoked a raid base if it really came to it. But it was fun, good wipe. I'm really glad. Again, like, thank you if they do wind up seeing this shit, right? Thank you very much to the Moose admins who gave us a copy of the map. They were really close to the chest with it at the beginning because they were like, we don't know what caused the crash. So, I mean, that makes sense, right? They didn't want to give it to us to reverse engineer it and get a big rust bug exposed or whatever. But um,
Why would we look
once
to
they
do that? We've
identify,
been on
it's
devs
you just, dude,
logs and stuff.
you gotta. It's not about like, yeah, it's about trust. There's no
We're a
trust
known
in Rust,
group though.
homie.
That's been presented to by the devs on their dev logs like that.
You've
Why
been playing
why
this game
bring
for
your name?
7 years and you're asking why somebody wouldn't trust someone else in Rust, or just in general with their program.
But that's a
All
different
right,
animal. You're
let's like, yeah, I want to just focus on the video, but yeah, no, I mean they gave us a copy of the map and then we were able to reverse engineer it enough to get a copy to do this, so it's good. Anything else to add?
see you in July, maybe.
We'll see.